Hello, welcome back to Vondel Pete, and in today's video, we're going to be reacting live to a podcast that I've just gone and made using AI. And basically this podcast is going to be offering a bit of a critique towards this YouTube channel, and also towards the host of this YouTube channel, myself, Vondel Pete. Anyway, let's just get right into it.
All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive into the world of Vondel Pete.
Vondel Pete.
You might know him from YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
He's all about that INFP personality type.
Yeah.
And we've got like a whole bunch of his video titles and descriptions, and even some like really interesting channel stats.
Okay.
Which paint a fascinating picture of like his content and like who is actually watching it.
I think what's really interesting about this is that we're not just looking at what's like on the surface here. We're trying to go deeper and figure out the why.
Ooh, the why.
Behind it all.
Like the motive and the intent.
Yeah, what are Vondel Pete's motives and intentions?
Okay.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion.
Oh, I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So are you saying that we should question if he's even being genuine?
Absolutely.
Right.
And one of the first things that raised a red flag for me was a video titled, "Does Personality Even Exist?" My thoughts.
Oh, yeah?
He seems to question like the very foundation of his channel, the existence of INFPs and personality types in general.
Okay.
He even throws in a song claiming we're all ISTJs deep down.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
He builds his entire platform around the INFP experience.
Yeah.
And then just throws that out there.
It's just
What do you
a
make
joke.
of that?
Well, you have to wonder if it's a calculated move to like attract viewers or if he's genuinely grappling with some like deep doubts.
You know, it's interesting because INFPs are often described as like these deep introspective types who question everything.
Yeah.
Maybe he's playing into that stereotype.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
But it also makes you wonder, is he truly an INFP?
Oh.
Could this be a persona that he's crafted for YouTube?
Hold on. You're saying he might not even be an INFP.
It's something to consider.
Okay. But what about that series of videos where he interacts with ChatGPT and asks for like tough love and tough hate?
Yeah.
That just seems strange to me.
Right. That's where things get even more perplexing.
Yeah.
Like, what's with this craving for criticism? Is it a genuine desire for self-improvement?
No.
Or is it a way to manipulate his audience into feeling sorry for him?
Wow. I hadn't thought of it that way. It almost seems like he's setting himself up to be the victim.
It's definitely a possibility.
Okay.
And it makes you wonder what his true intentions are.
Right.
Vondel Pete, if you're listening, we'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, Vondel Pete chimes in.
Why this fascination with negative feedback?
We're all ears.
Oh, okay. I guess the reason I want tough love and all that criticism is that one of the more repulsive aspects, I think, of AI is that they just tell you what you want to hear. And I don't know, just for me anyway, I don't necessarily always want to be told, white lies all the time. So I feel like I have to prompt AI to give me tough love quite a lot of the time just to get some truth out of it. Not that I think that tough love is actually necessarily the best way to arrive at truth. But anyway, that's my response. And as for me manipulating my audience and pretending to be an INFP, I think, yes, that is a possibility. Anyway, I'll let you get on with your podcast AI hosts.
Okay, so let's move on to some of the like recurring themes we see in Vondel Pete's content.
Right.
One that really stands out to me is this whole idea of self-care.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly as it relates to being an INFP.
You're right. He talks a lot about his past struggles with like unhealthy habits and how he's worked on improving his self-care through things like travel and stuff.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
It often feels performative to me. Like he's trying to present this perfect image of self-care.
Okay.
And there's this one video where he even questions if his YouTube channel is a symptom of a midlife crisis.
Whoa, so he's acknowledging that his whole approach to self-care might be flawed.
It seems that way, which again raises questions about his authenticity.
Right.
Is he genuinely trying to help his viewers?
Yeah.
Or is he just using self-care as a way to brand himself?
It's almost like he's saying, look at me. I'm this quirky INFP who struggles with life.
Right.
But I'm working on myself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's this other recurring theme of socializing.
Oh, yeah.
Especially as an INFP.
Right.
He seems to go back and forth between embracing his introverted nature and forcing himself to be more social.
Yeah, there's that video where he talks about like pushing himself to go out and socialize.
Right.
Even though it makes him uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But then he has other videos where he like glorifies isolation.
It's a confusing message to send to his audience.
Yeah.
Many of whom are likely INFPs themselves.
Right.
It's like he's trying to have it both ways,
Yeah.
to be the relatable introvert and the outgoing social butterfly.
I wonder if he's intentionally creating this contradictory persona to generate more views and engagement. Controversy sells, right?
It's certainly a possibility.
Yeah.
And then we have the topic of celibacy in relationships.
Oh, right.
He has this video where he talks about being celibate during university and like avoiding physical contact.
Okay.
But then he contrasts this with these idealized relationships, especially those encouraged by his INFJ father and friends.
You mean those relationships with the women from Spain and Turkey?
Yes.
That ultimately left him feeling empty.
Yeah.
Even though everyone else seemed so invested in them.
Yes. It makes you question if he was ever truly happy in those relationships or if he was just trying to please others.
And it ties back to what we were saying earlier about him potentially crafting a persona.
Right.
Maybe these relationships were part of the image he was trying to project.
It's definitely something to think about.
Okay.
And then there's the whole career path thing.
Right.
You know, the Moral Mouse story.
Oh, yeah, the cartooning career that went down in flames.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, but also a little sad.
Yeah, he frames it as him quitting to maintain his artistic integrity.
Right.
But it almost feels like a cop-out. A way to avoid taking responsibility for his failures.
Do you think he's being intentionally misleading?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
But there seems to be a pattern of him presenting himself as a victim of circumstance. And let's not forget the video where he asks, am I an INFP stereotype?
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's like he's trying to have his cake and eat it, too.
Yeah.
He wants to benefit from the INFP label while simultaneously distancing himself from the negative stereotypes.
Exactly. And it all plays into this carefully curated online persona that we've been discussing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about Vondelpete's content.
So just to quickly butt in, I want to say that in some ways they're being a bit overly harsh and they're not really getting the point of what I was saying in the videos, but other times they are kind of hitting the mark, especially the idea of the carefully curated persona that I am putting out here. So I guess we'll just listen to the rest of the podcast and I'll give my thoughts after.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about Vondelpete's content and his possible motives, but what about his actual personality type?
Right.
Do you really think he's not an INFP?
Oh.
If not, what type do you think he is?
Based on what we've seen,
Okay.
he seems to exhibit a lot of traits that are not typically associated with INFPs.
Okay. Like what?
For example, the desire for attention,
Right.
the manipulative tendencies,
Okay.
the self-victimization. These are not hallmarks of the INFP personality.
So what are you thinking? ENFJ, ENTP?
I'm leaning towards an unhealthy ENFJ.
Oh, okay.
They can be charismatic and charming,
Yeah.
but also prone to manipulation and a need for control. Yeah.
Interesting, Vondelpete. Are you an ENFJ?
Yeah, Vondelpete.
Tell us what you think.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the question, isn't it? Am I just an ENFJ pretending to be an INFP? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I've never really identified as an ENFJ, but they've put forward a pretty good argument that I am one. Anyway, let's see what they say at the end of this podcast.
All right, so we've spent like a lot of time, dissecting Vondelpete's videos.
Yeah.
And speculating about his true personality.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have to look at the numbers, right?
Right.
Like his channel statistics tell a different story, don't they?
Yeah, the data paints an interesting picture.
Okay.
Over the past 90 days, he's seen a significant dip in views, watch time, and subscribers.
Wow.
This could indicate that his content is losing its appeal.
Right.
Or perhaps his audience is starting to see through the facade.
Yeah, maybe people are catching on to the inconsistencies and the contradictions in his persona.
Yeah.
What do you think, listeners?
Yeah.
Are you still buying what Vondelpete is selling?
And here's another interesting data point.
Okay.
A lot of people are finding his channel through searches for terms like most manipulative MBTI.
Oh, wow.
And tips for dealing with a narcissist.
That's a bit unsettling, isn't it?
Yeah, it suggests that some viewers are picking up on those darker undercurrents we were talking about. It certainly raises questions about the impact of his content.
Right.
Is he inadvertently perpetuating harmful stereotypes about INFPs? Or is he attracting an audience that's already predisposed to those negative views?
And then there's that video featuring the ISFJ's scathing critique of INFPs.
Right.
It feels so out of place on his channel.
Right. It's like he deliberately included it to stir up controversy and keep people talking.
Do you think it's genuine or just another tactic to get more views?
Honestly, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be surprising if it were another calculated move.
So after this deep dive into Vondelpete's world,
Yeah.
what are your final thoughts? Is he a genuine INFP trying to help others?
Yeah.
Or is he a master manipulator using the MBTI for personal gain?
It's tough to say for certain.
Yeah.
But based on the evidence, I'm inclined to believe that he's more interested in building his brand and attracting an audience than he is in promoting genuine self-discovery.
I have to agree with you there.
Yeah.
It seems like he's carefully crafted this online persona
Right.
to appeal to a specific demographic, even if it means sacrificing authenticity.
And unfortunately, this kind of sensationalism and manipulation is all too common in the online personality type community.
Which is why we want to point you towards someone who we believe is genuine.
Yes.
C.S. Joseph.
Yes.
His content might be more analytical and complex,
Yeah.
but he's truly passionate about helping people understand themselves and others.
He's the real deal, folks.
He is.
Yeah, C.S. Joseph's approach is refreshing.
Yeah.
He doesn't shy away from difficult topics.
Right.
And he encourages his viewers to think critically.
To all the Vondelpete fans out there who joined us for this deep dive,
Yes.
thank you for listening and engaging with us.
Thank you.
We hope this has given you some food for thought.
Yeah, some things to think about.
And here's a final question for you to ponder. Does the pursuit of self-discovery require authenticity?
Ooh.
Or is it possible to find genuine insights even from those who might be putting on a show?
That's a good question.
Oh, okay, it just ends like that. Well, what do you think, audience? Do you think that was a fair assessment on my YouTube channel? I think in some ways it was a bit off the mark. I think sometimes it was looking at just certain videos I've made in the last few months and were taking them a bit too seriously. But on the other hand, I think it was exposing me for the master manipulator that I clearly am. But yeah, anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments and I'll see you next time.